Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Lisa. And I want to give a shout out to Kathleen at My Alabama Farm Life for this amazing hat. I love it, Kathleen. Thank you so much for this. It's been super handy, and look at this hat. Isn't it great? I love it. So anyway, I just wanted to do a mid-July garden tour, so come on along. Here we are in the main garden, and you can see that our plants are still very small. So for those of you that are new here, we are in Zone 4B in the Black Hills of South Dakota, and we are over 5,300 foot in elevation. So we tend to have a bit of a microclimate. These are squash, yellow squash and zucchini right here. And this is hail netting. We removed the hail netting from above those plants because we felt it was blocking the sun. But let me show you what we have growing on. Pole cucumbers, very, very small, not doing great. All of these are potatoes. We've got some chives over there. The potatoes are thriving. They usually do very well here. And then I have some herbs in there. The basil is not doing the greatest, but the lemon balm and the oregano and the parsley seem to be doing well. We are just now starting to get some zucchini. And I think that's the only one that we have there. And then these are cauliflower, which will be our last year if we do not get any heads on them. All those beans that I planted with the square foot gardening, those are the only ones that came up. And those are bush beans, those are contenders. The Swiss chard is kind of doing okay. And sadly, Barb, I'm sorry, your bok choy did not make it. We've got some broccoli heads coming on just now, which is about a month earlier than usual. I did plant a second planting of bush beans here, and only one came up here as well. Here in the back garden, we have our garlic. Now this is the garlic that I planted last fall, is doing great. We just got some scapes that we chopped off and put in the freezer, so we're just waiting for the bottom leaves to die off so we can harvest it. The garlic that I started in the spring was being shaded out by the rhubarb, and we're done harvesting the rhubarb. And that rhubarb kept spreading and spreading this year. So I cut it all back because we were done harvesting it. Now I'm hoping that it'll get some sun to some of the garlic there. Sorry for my shadow, but over here we have our onion bed. And they're very, very small, but we will see how it goes. I think next year I will plant more garlic in here. So as I'm walking around to the front garden, we did not move to South Dakota and say, let's move to South Dakota and grow a garden. We ended up here, and then we started growing. So you got to use what you have. It's been challenging, and I'd love to know if there's anybody watching out there that has been watching us since we started the channel. So I'm just curious if you remember all our previous gardens. But let's go take a look at the front garden. Here's the elderberry. It grows beautifully, but we don't get any fruit. So we're gonna see what it does next year. If it doesn't grow well, it's going. Same thing with the currant, because we just moved them. We did get flowers on the currant, but no berries whatsoever. The peas are not doing anything. We've got 1 or 2 peas on there. The loofah, I'm just leaving it, but I am done with loofah because it just does not do well here. And then over here we have huckleberry, and I'm excited because let me show you, if you can see it there. We actually have some berries. So I'm excited to be able to harvest those and see how they taste. Over here at the raspberry bushes, we have this bush here. We lost the middle ones, and we have 2 over here. This one is the golden. This here is cilantro. And then we have the echinacea, and I've left the roselle to see if it does anything, but it's just not doing anything. Then we have our onions, and they seem to be doing better in this location. And then we have our asparagus bed, which, as you can see, is full of asparagus. We've added some more crowns this year. Some calendula, horseradish, and I moved my herbs over. We have basil and dill. Over here, we have the strawberry bed, which we are starting to get some strawberries, as you can see. Tons of flowers and blooms. So I've been putting them in the freezer as they ripen because we only get like one at a time. Over here, we have the blueberry bushes. The one from the nursery is doing much better than the one we had from the big box store. And we got the pigs set up for some rotational grazing as a side note. Over here, we have bush cucumbers that literally have not grown since I planted them. And I planted them the last week in May before I went to Texas. Some straw flowers over here from Anita at Flower Folk Farm. More bush cucumbers. A few of the bush cucumbers did die. But let's check out the greenhouse. This is greenhouse number 2. And it is one of the stars of our garden. We have bush cucumbers and some marigolds. Bush cucumber there. We have some King of the North bell peppers, some tomatoes, and everything has tomatoes on it. Some jalapeno starts that I bought at the local nursery. Some habanero that are growing extremely slow. And more King of the North, and then these are peppers here. These are not King of the North, these are Orange Blaze. Let's go check out the other greenhouse. Here we are at greenhouse number 2. As you can see, we've got some purple Cherokee, more tomatoes, some black strawberry tomatoes. These are chili and poblano peppers, and lots of Roma tomatoes. So all in all, not great. The greenhouses are the star of the show, as always. But, you know, we're at 68 degrees right now in the morning. And we're going to supposedly go up to 77 and have some major storms come through later on. So, of course, anytime there's storms coming through, we have to worry about the risk of hail. But at this point, we have decided we're going to take the risk with the hail for the outdoor garden. You know, it's just been really, really cool, and we've had a lot of moisture. So we're out of our drought from 2019, and that's a good thing. It's kept the wildfires down, and that's really, really good. We've not heard of all these wildfires like we usually do. Additionally, I think it's time for us to decide what we're going to do next year. So we're just waiting to see what we harvest. And quite honestly, it's just a lot of energy, money, work, time for little return in the outdoor garden. So I think what we're going to do is see what the harvest is and reevaluate where we're at. And depending on how that goes, next year we may just plant a whole bunch of potatoes, maybe some squash, outside, and then keep the greenhouses for everything else, because it just is not a lot of return for it. So we have to be realistic, and that's what we're trying to do. This is our 4th year here, and we've had one good year, and that was last year. Well, guys, there is our garden tour, and hopefully we'll get something good this year out of the outside garden. Otherwise, we're betting on the greenhouses. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day. Take care.